Okay, and now it should work. Although I don't know why it's so quiet. Okay, now it's back to normal. Anyway. Video settings VR1. Single player. This. 911. My livery. Okay. And standard stuff for quali. Practice at 3 p.m. Like this. And now I can get chat on the screen. Streamlabs. Just look forward. Hello, 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 Polish internet, yes. Pin this. Okay, now it should kind of work.
Green light, give it all you can.
Okay. Although before that, I also need to change something in Oculus Trade Tool. I think that's called Oculus Trade Tool. Stuff that you're seeing is probably really weird. I know, but don't worry. Okay, back to normality. Okay, Kyalami. I don't know what to expect, but I want to do good here. Yeah, you can just pin the windows from Oculus, so I have like Streamlabs window right here with the chat. While still being in the game. So that's kinda convenient. Yep. I'm gonna move it even more up and actually disable this. Okay. Okay, setup. What setups do I have, if I even have any? This is CDA, but quite old one. This is quality CDA setup, okay. Race CDA setup. Okay. Now what's this? Okay, this looks like a really old setup. And this is probably a race setup for 20 degrees, but also quite old. Okay, maybe not that old, but yeah, I think this is the one that I want to use. Okay, like this. Let's try like this. Let's finally get driving. To be honest, I probably made that Streamlabs window a bit too big. Whatever. I'll leave it as it is. Yep, VR chase cam, why not? What? Did the internet just die?
Let's go, go.
Did the internet just die? It tells me I'm live for 30 seconds now. So that's definitely not right. Okay, I'm technically streaming. Okay, that's weird. Whatever. Sorry about that. Okay, so pressures. Pressures were kind of fine. I think go lower here. And higher bump on the front. I don't know actually what I would do. I would go lower rake. So you're saying that you didn't see the pit entry? Damn it! That's how you enter the pit. Let's just drive. For now, just driving. 40.2 for 24 quali. Okay. I don't remember the conditions for that though. I think it was a bit colder than what I have here, right? But this is a good indication of what people are possible. What people are capable of. So, yeah. No, Cody. I'm not gonna do that. Smooth operator. Don't do that, Cody. Don't give up. Don't give up. We have still 4 races to go, if not more. I don't remember. Never do that. Six. Hello, hello Vancy. How are you? Okay, I have an idea of what the car is behaving like, and I just casually did 140.0, which will be like pole position for RCI, but I have higher temps. So it's looking good for now. And before, Noble will do like a 39.5 in the Lambo, because it's Mike Noble. Just Mike Noble things. That's the power of having like 10 BenQ monitors. It's all about equipment, I'm telling you. Ooh, last sector was nice. In the middle sector I can definitely improve. In the first sector I can definitely improve, I know that. Let's go, but last sector was decent, apart from last corner. What we were saying, 5 including tonight, oh well, too sweet for Paul Ricard and Spallo. Time to sweet, time to sweat for Paul Ricard and Spa. Well, look, Cody, you're a great driver, so don't let what happened at Silverstone get into you. I also had a really shit race at Silverstone, but ultimately I'm still leading the championship by a miracle. Okay, Baldwin missed one race, but like I also fucked up already like 3 races. So never say never. You have great talent, you're a good driver, we have 5 races to go, you have good car, go for it. Okay, so I don't know if going higher with this helps, but we'll see. Maybe lower bump stop range, because it shouldn't really affect that much the corners that I'm thinking about, and we added aero, so that's gonna be good, I think. Maybe, possibly. I hope. More TC2, because why not? It wasn't really affecting me that much. More ABS. It shouldn't be that low. Maybe it should, I don't know. I don't really like. Some people use really low ABS, but I don't like it. But I also really don't like higher ABS settings. I like, usually in many cars, I settle down for 3 or 4. But like, I see a lot of people running 1 or 2, but for me they just don't work. I don't know which are faster. I just don't know. Let's go with 3. I just love that car, Cody. I just absolutely love that car. I mean, you know, last season in AOR, almost entire field was Porsche. Last season in Actual Vision, also there were like 5 fast Porsche drivers that were always at the top, or maybe second to last season in ACR. I don't remember. And suddenly now everyone's like, oh, Porsche is shit. And at Spa, at Imola, it's really bad. If only it was like a competitive car on Spa. If only that. I could... If only at Spa it was competitive car. That's all I ask for. Because we know how good of a car this is in real life races on Spa. And that it was competitive and fast. And it's not like because in real life all the other factors came into play and it won those 2 races. No, it was just outright fast car. And it's not fast car in ACC by any stretch of imagination. It just isn't. Oh my god, I already started ranting, but I guess that was in the title of the stream, right? 911 for life, exactly. 911s are just good. I don't really like how 911s are always perceived as like very easy way to get a classic car, or all those collectors 911s that go for crazy amount of money just because like they are super special or whatever. I don't like those kind of 911s, and I don't get that. I'm not really into that part of 911 world, you know. But in my opinion, they're just great drivers cars, and I just love the idea of rear engine. I just like driving with that rear engine in be it GT3 in ACC or be it any other Porsche in AC, old 911s in other sims in other games. I just like how that car looks. I like the Porsche approach to how they make those cars. Yeah, it's usually the case. I mean, you know, it's not that Porsche wasn't fast, and it's not that now Ferrari or McLaren aren't fast. They are. But again, it's not like Ferrari Evo is suddenly an OP machine and McLaren is suddenly an OP machine, because I'm leading Actual Vision's championship by 1 or 2 points be it, but still after 6 rounds, where not in every single race I was in favored car, because I think I was in favored car only for 1 round on Snetterton, right? But I'm still leading the championship. And at Snetterton it wasn't really just the car because it was raining and Murphy and Baldwin were prepared really, really well, and I was just on it. I was flying on that race. So the advantage that I got was purely from me going into that race with my mentality, okay, I know that that car performs here well, and I want to give it absolute everything. Like on Imola, I was doing my best to, of course, like bring good points, but I wasn't on it as much as, for example, on Saturn. When I was driving that car absolutely on the limit every single lap, just great flow, great consistency, great overall speed and pace, good strategy calls, and just that additional pace that comes with that you can drive. Yeah, definitely. The problem with it's also a problem in sims, probably in real life too, with more amateur driver. But in I see a lot of people like driving with cars in I'm gonna go on the track, so I'm ranting at least while driving. What's the time, by the way? So it's not like 2 hours of ranting and then I don't have even time to do proper practice. Okay, 1.5 hours I have left before the race starts. So like I see many people driving, especially GT3 cars, in a way that they seem totally not in control of it. Like absolutely not even remotely in control of the car. Like they are just trying like robots to follow a certain line that they know that there is, but their car control is below anything that we could even call car control, you know? Like absolutely trash. And I'm talking about like people who are 5 seconds of the pace, but there are loads of people like that. And in sim racing overall, I don't know, like there's a big focus on everything else apart from the driving itself. So setups, knowledge about everything, numbers, this do here, this do that here, but people just lack basic, like, I'm not talking driving on the limit, I'm talking about basic car control that people just lack. And people are like playing those sims like as a like robots as a game, just following certain steps and certain inputs rather than just trying to learn car control itself, no matter all the other factors. And I guess in sim racing it's way harder to drive from field because everything you have is force feedback and your visuals and sound, and that's all the clues that you get. If you're good at it, you can get plenty of information about what's going on with the car from those three: sounds, force feedback, and visuals. I don't know. Also, guys, I'm just ranting, so I'm saying now stupid stuff that probably may feel like like an insult to someone, maybe, but that's totally not the not the goal. I'm just ranting. Sorry, I'm just like that. Mateusz, the problem is that with recently with the tires on the outlap, if you're gonna lose pressure on the outlap itself, your pressures are gonna immediately go wrong, you know? So you need to take it really, really easily and bring the tires up to temperature and up to pressure really, really easily, not by pushing, but like, you know, dragging the brakes a bit, not riding curbs, gently putting the temperature into the tire, and then when they're up to pressure, then you can push and see what the pressure is gonna end up like. And also remember that if you're testing with wrong pressure and then you see, okay, I need to add certain amount of pressure to be in the window, Hi George. Why? Why? Legendary. Why? So if you're testing with the wrong pressure, that's gonna change the balance of the car. So then if you're gonna add that pressure to be at that correct pressure in the window, the balance of the car and its behavior is gonna change again, so your driving is gonna change, and it's gonna generate the heat into the tires in a different way, only a bit, but there is gonna be that difference. Therefore, the pressure that you're gonna end up with those corrected pressures is gonna be again slightly different, because pressures not only change the value of the pressures themselves, but also the car's behavior and how it generates heat into the tires. So it's like all connected and complicated. But yeah, if you're gonna take it easy on the laps when you're getting the tires up to temperature, then you shouldn't have that problem. Also on new DLC tracks, it's really easy to lose the pressure. Yeah, and they're just really important. So it used to be that people were driving with not so good overpressure, but it wasn't that much of an issue. But recently it became an issue when you're not in correct pressures. Therefore, people are starting to notice when they're not in the window much easier than before. Are you really taking Merc for World Cup? We don't even really know what Merc what car should we take for the World Cup. Oh my god.
Got some light damage on the front.
Why did I do this? Why? Just look at that. That was so stupid. Dong. If you're missing 1 psi, that's really bad. Also, depends on the track and what curbs are on the track. If you're hitting like big sausages, on big sausages it's much easier to lose the pressure. Or where there are like bumps on the track and like sharp edges of the asphalt. Like for example, I don't know, here probably we won't find many of those because we have here the curbs. But for example, here where the curb ends and where the grass starts, you can't see it, but look how the car goes up and down, you see? When I go on the curb it goes up, and when I go off it on the grass it goes lower. There's a big height difference. You can't really see it visually, but there's a big height difference, and there's a really sharp edge of that curb from that other side. So on many tracks where, for example, this is on a racing line, and when you're going over this such of curb, and you're going off it and on it again, that sharp edge, that's also really high, and that you bump into really hard, that can cause the tire to just depressurize. Okay, let's do some other proper laps. I did 140.0 on what was that? Third flying lap or fourth flying lap, so maybe actually third flying lap. Third flying lap. So there's definitely more time to find, unless I'm just not gonna find it because I'm not gonna find it. That's also a possibility. Also, I did so many although no, pressures look okay because they're like symmetrical, so that means that probably I didn't lose it. Whoops. $39 on nothing. Okay. I want to see how bad it was from the outside. Because that was the grass on the outside. That was totally driver error. Change camera. Thank you. That was totally on me. I did that transition to the outside too aggressively, and here I touched the grass just slightly bit. And boom, it rotated. You could even see how it went a bit down on the rear on the grass. But I kinda caught it, right? Because here it got straight and back on the track. So at least it didn't spin. For quali laps, on the out lap, you shouldn't really warm up the tires too aggressively. Just you really need to wait for them to get up to pressure. Because you're not gonna get the pressure the correct pressure by just dragging the brakes, because that's a different way of producing the heat, and every specific circuit generates grip on each corner of the generates heat in each tire differently. Because there's more load on the rear, there's more load on the left, there's more load on the front, there's more load on the right, and so on. So, of course, give it some initial heat and pressure, but then you need to really do 1-2 laps, and then the pressures will be fine. And usually the second flying lap is the fast lap, and third one is also fast because new tires, 2020 tires, don't fall off that much. Bear in mind now on Kyalami it's still 2019 BOP and 2019 tires. Yep, exactly. Tire is also a suspension component. I mean, not literally, but like it suspends, and it plays a role as a spring. Okay, rear tires are just overpressured, so there's no point continuing because they are gonna continue doing what they're doing. Also, this was just better. Also, this didn't really work. I don't remember what it was, but let's just put it at 8. And that was, I don't know, 8, 9. Let's put it at 9. And that was 6. Okay, pressures I'm also gonna go higher now because temperature changed, because it's it's not 1 p.m. It's 1:38. No. Why 11 though? But 40.0 was just a good lap, apart from the last corner, which probably also was fast, considering the lap time. Although the exit, yeah, by the exit you can definitely gain half a turn. Whoops. That was just horrible line. fucked it up. There's potential. Hello, hello. There's that town in the car, but it understeers on Crocodile. Which I don't know how to fix. Maybe just less TC, and maybe it was actually too much. And apart from the fact that those towns here were invalidated, we have again a 10th in the first sector. The middle sector is really good, and then there's again a 10th in the last sector, and here I lost 2 tenths. But the car feels decent. That was pretty stupid. No, that ABS wasn't 2, let's try ABS 2. Kyalami overall is a pretty difficult track. invalidated. Too much curb. I can't really use that much of the curb because it unsettles the car and then I need to wait for it to settle before the transition. Not best. I can't get those 3 last corners correct. Last corner hooked up so nicely. 39.8.
Personal fastest lap.
Woo! Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do... did we already do Kyalami track guide on the stream? I don't know, I'm gonna do one, because like when I talk about the track, it gets into my mind, and then it's easier for me to repeat those, all the things. But before that, return to the garage, setup, and I want to save that setup. There's a 10th in that lap in the first sector, by the way. But I'm gonna call it Q for qualifying and temperatures, so 25, 34. Remember to write 34, not 24. Remember to, if you're saving with the temperature, and if you're just doing anything with the temperature, remember that both temperatures play a role. Which hairpin? Stay right in the braking for the hairpin before the cursed sausage. Why would you stay on the right? I mean, the corner is right-hand corner. Yep. Okay, I'm just gonna go on Discord and ping everyone, because everyone loves to be pinged on the Discord. Am I right? And everyone. Oops. Okie dokie. Back to the game. Replay. Let's see that lap. Even before I do that, let's see those timetables. Yeah, there was a 10th in the middle, a 10th in the first sector for sure. You can do 8 something. That was proven here on those 2 laps. And overall you can gain in the first corner, and then even in the sunset a bit. The sunset was properly on the limit. But middle sector was a killer, 4 and 29.5 in the last sector. So the rest of the lap was really nice. The hairpin at the top of the hill, Eurocup, was really good. I think that's how you pronounce it. Here we go. Track guide, lap 18. Okay, the straight, corner number 1. Here's the apex, here's the entry, there's an exit. You're going through turn 1, like this. End of the track guide. No, I'm joking. Okay, real turn 1, named turn 2. Braking at 100 board. Probably everyone knows that. Actually, you're going on the brakes. Like, when you're in the car, it feels like you're braking on the 100. Like, here. But in reality, the real moment when you go on the brakes is here. You know? This is the real moment when you go on the brakes. Anyway, going into that turn, and somewhere from the moment when I am at 50 meters, that's where I already commit into the line. So that's where already I start loading up front tires, and with trail braking, there's an apex in there in the distance. And with trail braking, I'm adding the load to the front tires, and with trail braking, I'm going in, and I'm adding rotation towards that apex. So braking in a straight line at 100, then staying on the right, staying on the right, and somewhere around here where I am. Hi Chris. What gear are you using? I don't know. Well, I think I go to just first gear. What gear I am using on the straight? I think 5th gear, because that's just the gearing of the car. Like, the gear doesn't... It's not the gear that defines the corner. Yeah, Chris, you definitely need the track guide. Probably Chris knows a lot more about that track than I do. Probably some things that I'm gonna say by Chris are gonna be wrong, but they're gonna be good for everyone else, considering the lap I did right now. But anyway, it's not the gear that defines the corner, it's the corner that defines the gear. Think about that. But anyway, you go to first gear. And adding rotation to that moment. Then a bit of trail braking, waiting with the throttle, hitting the apex on the throttle. And already allowing the car to apply the traction after you hit the apex, you're releasing the steering, and here going to the outside, because you want the car to be able to apply the traction, and here you're releasing the steering, so it accelerates really straight away. EU track guys, there are apexes around there. Okay, so anyway, you do the exit on that corner in a way that you're gonna use all the exit, but then really quickly go to the left, so you're positioned for the next corner that's flat. No matter what you do, the first corner needs to be done in a way that you're flat through it. But look, that it's not that I'm doing very first corner super tight, so then the next corner is flat. I'm still using all the road, but then I'm doing that really quick transition to the left and to the right in a way that the next corner is flat. It's really on the limit, this one. It's not easy flat, but you know, it's a balance of how much to the left you're gonna go, and to be able to do that with full throttle without any going over the limit of rear tires, because the car is gonna be like rear tires limited here, and it's gonna want to, here while you're touching this curb, the left rear tire will be loaded, and this will be the first one to give up. I don't even consider this as any reference point. I do that fast right hand kink right here, in a way that I'm already on the exit to it, positioning the car into that double left. I mean, if you consider this as a left-hand corner. Anyway, I'm positioning it into the next corner, already trying to be on the right. So here I'm coming into this little braking zone with only with the car positioned in a way that the turning that I'm gonna do for this corner is gonna be reduced to the minimum, and also the track width that I'm gonna use is as much as possible. So if I would be coming from the inside, I could also, of course, go to the outside from the inside, but then my car positioning will be so that my car is pointing somewhere towards that crowd right there, right, like that, and I don't want that. I want the car that's positioned as straight as possible, if not even towards the left, which of course in this particular situation is impossible. But I'm minimizing how much my car is pointing towards the right, because the car is because the corner is left-hand corner. So that's why I'm going for this kink in a way that here I'm already positioning my car to on the right hand side. So when I do the braking and when I turn into the corner, the amount of turning is minimized, and the corner is as open as possible with as high a radius as possible, and I'm already pointing towards the left as much as possible. So it's like reduced from pointing there to pointing at least there, but it's still reduced, right? Anyway, dab of the brakes, but really, really gently. It's like Silverstone all over again. Like Cops, like Stowe, like Brooklands. You need, or like Sunset, that's gonna be next one. It's not hard braking zone. It's just about slowing the car down a bit and giving the front tires grip, but loading up the front really, really gently. Because first it goes up the hill, but then the road is gonna disappear from under the car, and it's gonna be, I think, negative camber. Am I right? Like right here at the exit. Yeah. So there the car will want to lose the grip. So anyway, here dab of the brakes, slowing down and coasting, and here coasting and waiting for the car to turn in. So everything here is doing really, really smoothly, and early on the throttle here. Because we have that huge straight. So go in, really, really smooth with the pedal inputs here, and really, really smooth with weight transfer. Going in, early apex, early on the throttle, and extending the road as much as possible. This was arguably too much. Depends on the car. Some will jump massively and they will lose loads of time. Some just won't, and so it depends. You're risking a lot in the race, so like don't even consider that. And probably for the ultimate hot lap, you don't even really want to go on that grass. You want to extend it as much as possible onto the concrete, and no more. This is too much. Anyway, Sunset. It's again the same type of the corner in the way that the car needs to be loaded up really, really smoothly. Smoothly transferring the weight to the front, not braking at 100% of brakes capacity. So here I'm only touching the brakes, and the car immediately goes in because the weight transfers to the front. And turning in really, really late. And now look at the line. The line is so here is the apex, but the apex is really, really late, like somewhere here. I went for that apex even too early on this particular lap, and then I went a bit too wide. But that apex is quite late into the corner, so you need to go from the outside, and here all that curve that's here, you're missing that, and you're only hitting that curve finally when you're here, when there's a little marker right here, and also like the radius of that curve changes. If I'm gonna go back, reverse, if you look at it, like there's a point right there where I'm pointing, right there, where there's sudden radius change of that curve, you know, and that's when you want to arrive at the apex. So here you're staying away from the apex, and you're going in and in and in and in and in, and you want to be on the apex right here. I made it so I'm a bit earlier, but that was a mistake. But anyway, you do it so on the exit the car can accelerate as early as possible, as freely as possible, and carry that speed that you carried through the corner while opening it up. So here with a lot of speed, arriving at that apex early on the throttle, and that's why you're opening it up at the beginning, so that part here from that apex that you hit is just flat, and you're going flat from that apex to the outside again, but you're doing it flat. Here it was a bit too much. You can go through this line like that, but in this particular lap, the rear of my car just slid a bit. You can see from the outside and from the onboard on full speed how much of a yaw angle there was in the car on the exit, how rear tires just gave up. Here when I go over that curb, you can even see I need to do slight correction at the end. So that's what you need to watch out for. But ultimately you're just carrying loads of speed while using all the track like that. If it's gonna be done, like I said, a bit smoother with little bit later apex and smoother, even better acceleration zone, I don't know if maybe I can find a lap. On that first lap, it was quite, on that very first fast lap, that was lap 5, that was done really beautifully. So here, boom, on the brakes, late apex right here, and then to the outside, using all the road without any like this weird slippage, and that was just perfect. From the outside, boom, apex, accelerating to the outside, using all the road, but no sliding. Okay, so that's sunset. And if you're gonna do it right, you're gonna have really high speed on the exit of this corner. And the next braking zone to, I think the corner is named Barbecue, is you can gain loads of time here. And you can brake late into the corner, and the corner is like early apex with way more road on the exit than you think there is. So you brake as late as possible, and you go in quite early. You go in quite early, you hit that apex right here when like that curve goes from like small curve to the bigger curve. And then when it goes to bigger, you hit that curve, but then you don't stick to that curve. Look how early you can go on the throttle right here, already to the outside, and extend the track. Because here the track goes like from being quite narrow to being wider. I think that's what's happening. Anyway, the corner is, when you're driving it, it feels like it goes from being like quite narrow to then wide, and there's a lot of road to use here. And that apex that you hit, and that like big curb that you hit right here, and it's like quite early in the corner, and you hit it quite early in the corner. So go in, there's that early apex, but already early on the throttle, and use all the road, and because there's all that asphalt that's right here, that in a race situation you can use. But that, I think, creates an illusion, I think, that here you need to turn in more and more, where in reality that exit and that part of the road is much wider, so you can accelerate quite early towards that outside. So we hit that apex, and then straight away to the outside, applying the throttle early, and again like on every single exit, maximizing the exit, releasing the steering in here as early as possible after you're done, so the car is accelerating as smoothly as possible, and it's applying the power as early as possible, not to get any like weird snap of oversteer at the exit. So look at it from the inside at full speed. So boom, going in, trail braking, hitting that apex early on the throttle, releasing the steering, maximizing the road, and it just accelerates and fires out of the corner. Okay, the S's. On that particular lap, the S's were like the first part of the S's was fast, and then going up the hill was a bit slower because of the exit of the second part of the S. Setup doesn't matter. what I'm saying right now applies to a GT4, GT3, road car, a truck, a wet Kyalami, green Kyalami, and safe preset, aggressive preset. Setup doesn't matter if you don't understand what I'm talking about right now. Okay, I went into ranting mode again. Okay, S's. So when that curb starts, right after it starts, again you touch the brakes, but it's like in the sunset, it's like in that corner onto the second straight on the track. You need to go and load up the front really in a really smooth manner, and stay with that load on the front for a long period of time. So going on the front, coasting of throttle, going onto that curb, that was a bit too much, just tiny bit too much, because in my occasion when it went off the curb here, because I took really big amount of it, when it went down from the curb, it took more time for the dampers to settle down. That will be something again that you can fix with the setup, but it will be like really minor changes, and you would need to like hit that curb literally every single time correctly, and those dampers that would be tuned for that curb specifically probably wouldn't work somewhere else. It's always a compromise. Although anyway, the fastest way through the chicane, through this S chicane, through those S's, would be without taking that much curb anyway. But no matter how you take the first part, this was arguably too much of that curb on the inside, but the crucial point is when and how it's gonna be the transition. So here when I go off it, look, I'm positioned in the way that I do the transition, and I'm immediately going into the line that I'm gonna go through that second S with, right? So I exit the first part of the S, and then there's a transition, and you can see I did a transition and I'm immediately on the line for the second part of the S, and I'm carrying the momentum of the car. There's no unnecessarily load transfer in the middle, no additional like deceleration, acceleration between two parts. It's really there's a big flow, and it's like a fluent motion from one S to another. First S decelerating, second S decelerating and accelerating almost immediately. So it's like decelerating through the first S, accelerating through the second S. And in the middle, there's a transition between them that needs to be done in a really like fluent way. Boom. So here it's about how you're gonna position the car through those S's. Of course, while trying to carry as much speed as possible through the first part. Remember, here the road is going downhill, so it's gonna rotate a bit too much, and if you're gonna over rotate on that curb, and you're gonna easily lose the rear end. That's why you need to be really cautious on the exit, on the entry, and how do you transfer the load to the front, not to overdo it, so you're preventing that snap at the exit of the first S when the track goes downhill and you lose the grip. Anyway, here when you go in, it's just about picking if you're on the correct line, you can go on the throttle really early. It's just looking into the distance on that exit and trying to judge when there's when that moment of you being able to go finally on the throttle comes. So you go on the throttle and you're just using as much road as possible. In the race, remember, if you're gonna go with two tires over that line, over that white line, so because you can have like almost a car width on that concrete, not being on the grass, on that concrete, but past that white line, and you can get a warning, a track cut warning. So be careful with that. So of course you're gonna lose a lot more if you go on the grass and the car is gonna jump, it's gonna have to settle down here, you're gonna lose a lot of speed up the hill. But if you're gonna do this with that, there's a little that tiny margin where the car isn't gonna be on the grass, but it's gonna be already past the white line, and then if you're gonna gain time, you're gonna possibly get a warning, so be careful. The fastest way through here is not really, it's about the S transition and how you accelerate how you apply the throttle, not really about how much you millimeter perfect use the track right there. So even if I use like track like this, it's really good. Okay, now this hairpin, breaking point or reference point. Breaking point will differ a lot, but the reference is that guy right there. He's in orange suit, as every marshal is, so it's easy to spot him. Even if in the night, in the rain, you can see him. And you just judge when you are right there beside him. When he's beside you, you go on the brakes. So right here, boom, he's beside us, and we go on the brakes. You also at that moment, somewhere around here, that curb is gonna appear in your vision because we're coming over the hill, you know. So like somewhere right about here. And this is a braking zone that's really tricky, and that corner is so blind. It's a blind corner, and again, it's like almost first corner. So there's a point that we starting to trail brake towards the inside of the corner so there's a moment on the outside. Boom, we're here on the outside, and then from that moment here I start turning in, and then I start to trail brake towards that point that's really far into the corner. And then I here like release the brakes, and here I stop braking, I coast a bit, I ride that curb a bit, wait a bit for the car rotation to like for the car to rotate finally, and then as early as possible with the throttle, somewhere probably around here. If we're gonna play it in full speed, we could hear that. Decelerating on the throttle. And from that moment that I go on the throttle, I'm like smoothly releasing the steering and again allowing the car to apply the traction. So here when I go on the throttle, I immediately release the steering, look from the inside, so the car can apply the throttle immediately. You see? Here I release the steering, so the car is starting to go straight, and I'm releasing the load that's being put on the rear tires, so they can accommodate, like not lateral load, but longitudinal load that's gonna come from acceleration. Accommodate the load, Jesus, that's probably so bad of a term, but I guess that you maybe know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I kinda used stayed to the left here quite a lot. Like I didn't go to the outside. Sometimes a lot of people go to the outside completely. I also do, so I don't really know why I stayed to the left so aggressively, but whatever. It's just you can go flat through here, as little resistance as possible, but it's all about the corner. Here, I want to be positioned on the outside. You could probably be positioned more towards the inside, but still at the end of braking zone, you want to have the car that's gonna be positioned here. So no matter if you go from the, if you brake from the, like while standing on the outside, or braking from the middle to the outside, so you're then positioned like that, it's always about being positioned like to the corner like that. So then the rest of the corner, there's a big open high radius corner, and we can carry a lot of speed into it, and you're gonna gain a lot of time and a lot of delta right there. So this is just flat, whatever, and here you brake after the 100, like between 100 and 50, that's probably somewhere around 80, something like that, and like do it whatever, do it from the middle to the outside, from the outside to the outside, maybe not completely from the inside to the outside because that's too much, and the car then is gonna be like positioned more towards those trees, not towards that, not like straight pointing towards that fanatic logo or towards that crowd that's right there. And overall, like throughout that braking zone, you're gonna do a little bit of an arc that's turning right, so here you're gonna be positioned as much pointing as much towards the right as possible. Okay, and then you just go off the brakes, releasing the brakes towards the inside. It's like this corner, first corner, that hairpin on the top of the hill, It's like braking really deep into the corner with late apex, and apex that's really hidden. But it's really crucial to carry a lot of speed throughout those zones. So you need to brake far into the corner, not brake early and then coast through here, or just turn in and wait for the corner to end. You need to really push the braking zone far into the corner, but you can't, of course, like push the straight line braking zone further into the corner. You need to really work on your trail braking and trail brake far into the corners. Kyalami is really good for practicing trail braking far into the corners and hitting those apexes with your trail braking. So working with your trail braking, so you can both push the braking zone far into the corner, and then using that trail braking and working with it. It's not like, again, it's not like there's some perfect amount of trail braking. Trail braking is just a tool that you use to control the car. So you're trail braking, using that trail braking, you're trying to point the car towards the apex. And then a bit of coasting, again a bit of waiting, but ultimately as soon as possible on the throttle. And again, that entry, if we're gonna do it, do that very open entry that's gonna give us high radius, we're gonna have to do as little turning as possible, and we're gonna have a car that's positioned on the exit in just a way that enables us to go on the throttle as early as possible. And again, like, you hit the apex after trail braking, and it's the same as in every single corner. It's just a pattern. Go on the throttle as early as possible, and you release the steering, so the car is able to apply the traction as soon as possible. And you're releasing the steering, releasing the steering, and here you're using as much of road as possible. The limit is that curb. So you can have, you need to have at least 2 tires on this red and white curb. That's the limit, and you can use it. And maybe in the wet, here it's gonna be too slippery, but in the dry, use it. And also those concrete things in the wet, they're gonna be slippery, so I'll avoid them. But in the dry, you can use them. So you're going in for the cheater. I think that's how the corner is named. The one with the sausage. That's just all about timing and the precision. Just lift, hit the sausage as early as possible on the throttle. Use as much of the road as possible. And if you're gonna use, you can use as much as possible, and you can even use the grass, and it's gonna be faster because you're just maximizing the speed that you're carrying through the corner. So look from the inside, you just boom, go in, lift on the throttle early, maximizing the exit. It's just about the precision, commitment, and timing of when you go off the throttle, when you go on the throttle, when you turn in, so you hit the apex correctly. This is about timing. So just boom, go in, on the throttle, and use all the track. Okay, last corner. Last corner was sweet. I used loads of the road on the exit. In the race situation, that exit would have been not the best, but I carried loads of speed through the corner, so for the quali lap, that was a really good line. Okay, braking zone and braking point, we all know that. So the 50 board, remember, 50 board is gonna disappear, especially in public lobby after some crash, after someone hits that sausage and rejoins the track. So that 50 board is gonna disappear, but there's a little line right there on the road, and you can see it when you're in the car. And that line is where the 50-meter board is. And also here we have marshals with the flags. Sorry, we can't see them because... there we go. Hello, guys. Hello. And you brake before that. And remember, this is a reference point. This isn't braking point. This is a reference point that you use to judge your braking, but it's not a given braking point. So don't brake on that line. Brake before it. So here, look how when exactly I go on the brakes, when the brake lights go on the car. Boom. Here I already brake. See? So when I'm going really fast, it feels like I'm braking just a few meters, like a car length before 50-meter board. In reality, this is like almost 2 car lengths, if not more. I don't know, maybe we could even fit 3 cars here before the 50-meter board, or maybe 2.5. Anyway, brake before it. So you have that 50 and those marshal posts and that line in your vision, but it's only a reference, and it's likely to disappear. If it doesn't, well, you can just use 50-meter board. It's right there, and it's easy to remember that somewhere around that distance from 50-meter board, that's where to brake. But remember, a lot of references aren't necessarily breaking points. Those are only references, and breaking points change throughout the lap, change depending on conditions, change throughout the race, change car to car, changes during the stint because of old tires, because damage, because slipstream, because different exit speed. Breaking points that you brake on change only a bit, but they do. But the references are just static things that are on the track that you use for as a references to define then your breaking point that you pick yourself. Anyway, the corner. So it's again like braking far into the corner and trail braking using all the road on the exit. So here I brake initially in the straight line, and then somewhere around here where there's a line, I don't know if that's a safety car line maybe, or maybe that's just extension of that line for whatever reason where the pit stop is, or maybe it's used for some yellow flag procedures or something like that. I don't know the rules. Anyway, there is a line. So from that moment on, use again trail braking and adding more steering, adding the load to the front tires, trail braking, and now look how I beautifully control the slip, the yaw angle of the car, how I used all the tires, all 4 tires of the car to turn and rotate it. Because look how the car is rotating using all its 4 tires here and the apex. Look how there's all the tires are at the slip angle. There's a yaw angle in the car. It's not drifting. It's not sliding. When you no even tire squealing, but it wasn't like understeering. It wasn't front tires limited. It used all the 4 tires, and it rotated nicely. It was a beautiful yaw, so it rotated nicely, and I achieved that with really nice trail braking and controlling that load that was on the front and using that load on the front to help that rotation of the car. And then from that moment, I had the rotation. I could early go on the throttle and accelerate towards the exit, because look how towards the exit, how early I'm going on the throttle and how early I'm trying to apply that power to the ground to accelerate as early as possible. Don't tell me I don't know the rules now enough. Anyway, look at that corner, and also try to listen how early I go on the throttle, considering at what state the car is. Boom, on the throttle, accelerating early towards the outside. Like, you know, when you're watching hot laps on the YouTube, like this looks like, oh, I'm doing almost the same line, where is he gaining time? I just explained you. Rotation, trail braking, load transfer, managing load, managing grip, you doing all those whatever minus. Thinking about all that grip and how it generates the speed through that given line. That's so important. What's the time? I probably used. Oh my god. I need to test with fuel load because I'm running out of time. I wanted to practice a lot for Kyalami, and I'm gonna get like 30-minute practice, which is still a lot considering my practice. Anyway, the same conditions, but 7 a.m. because the race starts at 7 a.m. and we're gonna do that race at 7 a.m. and we're gonna test at 7 a.m. so the pressures are correct. Okay, 1919 are the temperatures. So I'm gonna load the setup that's conveniently called 19. I'm gonna put in 90 liters. I don't know. Let's just... what are the brake ducts? 2-2? 2-1. Let's see with those temperatures how they're gonna do. Let's go.
Green light. Give it all you got.
Yeah, it does. That's true. Also, me ranting during the lap about using different braking references and me ranting about setups in the meantime doesn't help. Also, usually for me, trying to break that down those laps and explaining a lot of stuff takes a lot of time. I'm almost sure that I'm gonna have to lower the rake because it's quite old setup. So it's definitely from before 1.6. Also, I need to remember it's 7 AM, not 7 PM, so the temperature is gonna rise, not lower. Which is just easy to get wrong, because of how used normally we are to races being afternoon. Okay, 40.8 with fuel.
Personal fastest lap.
I don't remember if that's good or bad. I guess it's good. But I think I will need like 40.5. I'm running wing 11. Whoops. Too late. And then I was on the sleepy side on the outside. Last turn, I don't think you should use a lot of curve. Let's look at the first lap I did with really decent last corner. Results lap 2. Like this was pretty decent last corner race line race setup. So brake here, hit the curb early on the throttle, and boom. By the way, track limits on that turn are like so, that you need to be at least with 2 tires on that curb right here. If not, on that little strip of concrete where the gutter is, where that gutter is. Maybe. But, you know, that's... do it at your own risk. Nie, w tym świecie się nie ścigam niestety. Na razie. Pressure adjustments intensifies. And I'm gonna save it as Q, not one, Q19... 1919? No, not Q. Fuck. R1919. Save. Right. What's the time again? 23 plus 23 plus. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do a few more laps and that's probably gonna be it, and I'm gonna go on the server. It's also not optimal that I'm not prepared for the rain. But I can just hope that after all those wet races that we had, in actual vision recently, it's not gonna rain finally. But that was again that was the same that I was hoping for the last race yesterday for GT4, and it turned out to be third race wet in the row, like full wet third time in the row. But yeah, yesterday's race was good. I was properly on it. I was like, get out with that KTM Leo. he was so fast in the KTM, but he struggled a bit in the race. That KTM on normal terms you'd be faster than me in wet, but I think he messed up something again, and I just had a better pace, which I'm really happy with. But I also had like over a second faster pace than all the other guys, not only KTM. So yeah, it's not 911.2, it's 991.2. I'm done with the practicing. Look, car selection, it's Porsche 991.2 because it's 991 generation of a 911 in its second form, and the first one was just 991 GT3 R. Both of those cars are 911's GT3 R, but the first one is the 991 normal, and the second is 991 2. Because second generation of 991 generation. It's like generation inside of a generation. But it's not 911. Like, both cars are 911s, but there's not like 911 2. It's 991 2, because it's a generation 991, like 993, 996, 997, 991, 992, 964, 930. And 997 also had like 997.1, 997.2. Anyway. Huge rage! That's unacceptable. Delete that message. No, I'm joking. Okay, let's test those pressures one more time. One more time. Hi, Andy. Just Porsche things. Just Porsche things. Hello. We're a bit late, guys, because I'm gonna like stop streaming in 5 minutes. Although I guess usually people aren't even watching the streams for more than 5 minutes, so that's fine. It's just numbers. Look, 9991 isn't the same as 911. It's a different number. And no worries, Andy. Okay, that lap is pretty shit so far.
Well done, mate. Your fastest lap so far. Oh, the first sec... Okay. Holy fuck. Well done, mate. Your fastest lap so far.
Okay, on that lap I'm gonna end the stream. And I'm gonna save that... no, that setup is already saved. But holy fuck. 40.3. 40.3 on race fuel. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'm gonna have to end because probably there's server already open. It probably got opened right now. So anyway, oh, I love that car. 10.3, holy fuck. You're gonna stop streaming when you say you're gonna. Okay, Sergio, please say stop the streaming. Yes. Stopping the streaming intensifies. Okay, no, seriously, I need to stop the streaming because I need to go to the toilet and then go on the server. And if it's raining on the server, I'm gonna have to like create something in 20 minutes. So anyway, thanks for watching. Today was really fun. 9/11 on Kyalami, always extremely fun. People on the stream, always really nice to talk to you guys. Okay, I need to end. Go watch. Probably Judge is gonna stream his race. Probably other people are gonna stream his race. If Baldwin is racing, Baldwin is gonna stream his race. Murphy is gonna stream his race. Of course, there's gonna be an official broadcast on Actual Vision's YouTube, Twitch channel. So twitch.tv/actualvision. Go and watch that. And since Sergio said stop the streaming,